guys must be getting fairly busy with interviews and the like right now.
Yeah, I'd say it's starting to, definitely can feel the momentum of the album coming out on an actual label.
Very cool. Was it, is it a different feeling than when you guys released the record yourselves?
Well, I'd say probably it's just more of a relief to have more people just than the three of us in our band that are taking a stake and making sure that it's a success. I mean, it's obviously when you see the ads that they're putting up, that's helpful, and just the way that their Sonic Onion's been able to get us, reviewed in different magazines that we wouldn't have been able to initially on our own. Like, I mean, when we put out the CD ourselves back in December of 2010, we sent stuff to all the magazines, and it did get reviewed in a few, like Metal Hammer did a really awesome review. Malcolm Dome, who's been writing for them for 30 years pretty much, he had some good things to say about the album, so that was a boost. And we just we're in the Terrorizer Secret History of Thrash Metal issue, and
Nice.
they did a little couple paragraphs about the band in there, which is really cool. So I think being on the label, it doesn't make you any better, but it might, get a few more people to start taking your band serious and actually check it out and listen and see if it's their type of music.
Right. Have you guys found that it's easier to get reviewed by UK magazines than North American magazines?
So far, I'd say that's they've been the ones reviewing us more so than North American ones, for sure. I don't know if that's because UK's liking the thrash scene, whereas sometimes it seems like America's more into the, not hardcore, but the
metalcore.
Yeah, for sure. It seems to be it's interesting that there seems to be a cycle where metalcore was being kind of pushed to the side by the new wave of thrash for a while, and now it seems to be the two of them are fighting neck and neck.
Yeah, and I think the thing that'll, this is of course my own bias, but I think the thrash is going to prevail because even though a lot of them are throwback bands, there's always new ideas, new riffs, new directions that are happening, whereas I think the metalcore has kind of found a template, and it's fairly rigid, and you'll hear 20 different bands, and you'll be like, wow, they kind of sound like the same band. So I think thrash is going to prevail in the end just because you have the latitude to be more creative. You don't, isolate fans if you don't have a math metal breakdown in every song and that sort of thing.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, for us, there's a reason why we like the thrash death metal, and that's there's no limits to it. You just write the songs you want to write, and if you like it as a band and you have a good taste in music, probably other people will like it as well.
Now, when you guys were growing up, were you metal fans all along, or did you start out as a lot of us did, as being subjected to a lot of really bad pop music, and then eventually finding thrash kind of as you grew?
I'd say for us, like, we were into skateboarding and snowboarding and all that, and the snowboard and skate videos had like punk music and metal music that was played on them, so we originally got into punk, played as a punk band back in like 99, 2000, and then eventually, after learning how to play a bit, just ended up getting into the thrash speed metal.
Right.
Like, it was funny as far as, I'm 2 years older than my brother, and I definitely was hearing Countdown to Extinction when that was a brand new album, and heard Metallica and all those bands, of course, but I think it would probably be like Slayer that sounded a little bit like punk, but I knew it was a lot heavier, and I was like, maybe this is the kind of music I want to get into more exclusively. So I think punk helps transition us into heavy metal, and now it's really just a case of we like so many different types of music, but it's always going to be the intricate heavy metal that draws our attention.
Right, so punk was your gateway drug, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And snowboarding and skateboarding, just the action sports videos always seem to have that kind of exciting music, and they didn't really discriminate what genre. They would just pick whatever they liked, and sure enough, you hear a few songs, and then you go out and buy the CD, and then you buy all the CDs from that band, and then you end up finding out about other bands through friends, and it just kind of snowballs from there.
Absolutely.
One thing I was going to add, just going back to the first question, I think too with the UK and us having such a special relationship, it's always been that Canada and the United Kingdom have, you know, that common ground. I mean, we used to be a dominion of them, and I find, you know, when people are ignoring Britain, they'll end up, you know, coming to Canada with their art or whatever, and I think they're kind of returning the favor now, where if something interesting's coming out of Canada, they're willing to give it a fair listen without having too many biases in place ahead of time.
Right. I think that's very true, and from what I've seen personally, anyways, that you know, the North American music scene, particularly south of the border here, seems to be a little bit more trend oriented than Canada and the UK.
Well, exactly, because I mean, there's, you know, here people have to go to the live shows and to really see if it's for them or not, and if something, you know, every time lets you down, you're just not going to follow that trend anymore. Whereas in the States, it's kind of a melting pot situation sometimes, where if a band's big and all the girls at your school love that band, then all the guys are like, oh, I have to wear that band's t-shirt, and it just, you know, it really, some people are right when they say, you know, people listen to music with their eyes and not their ears anymore, and it's too bad, because definitely the bands that don't have a look but have a sound are the ones